And the number one thing that I hear from people is, I don't really have time for that. I have a business, I have a family. I said, if you could give me 45 minutes twice a week, that's all you need to do. Body does not want to change. It wants to keep status quo. So you got to give it a bloody good reason, as we would say in England, to change, right? So you got to put more stress on the body than it's used to.
Dorian Yates is a legendary 6-time Mr. Olympia winner who is also considered one of the greatest pioneers of training methods for bodybuilding, health, and fitness. He is known for using and recommending low-volume, high-intensity workouts, meaning very few sets done with maximal focus, perfect form, and directed muscle engagement, taken to muscular failure and beyond. Today, Dorian teaches us how the typical person who is not interested in competitive bodybuilding should train for health and fitness and overall best results. I'm like most people in the sense that, and let me frame this right, I could get certain movements to really thrash the muscle that I needed to with 1 or 2 sets. But if there isn't really good mind-muscle connection and fiber recruitment, you might need a bit more.
It's possible, yeah. That's somebody that's very experienced. They get that mind-muscle connection where you can just link in and you can fully destroy it. So it depends on the person. But the idea is to not do more than is necessary, because then you're going to find it harder to recover. And the process is stimulate, right? So you got to train, you got to overload. And during this process, you're not growing. You're creating damage, stress to the muscle that then has to recover and then overcompensate. So 2 things need to be in place. Need to be sufficient intensity or overload, or there'll be no reaction. And then you need to recover from that. And let's just put it straight out there, man. You know, there's a big difference between somebody using anabolic steroids than somebody that's not. So somebody that's using can recover from that process more quickly than somebody that isn't. So I feel I should always say this, because when you're looking at a champion bodybuilder, how he trains, and you're a young guy trying to build up, that's probably not appropriate for you right now. That guy has already got the size and is refining for a competition or something. So that's the idea, to do enough to stimulate, but not more than that, because this is an overload that you've got to recover from. So you've got to recover before you grow as well. So you don't want to go back to the gym before that whole process has taken place.
About resistance training is that it fills the muscle with blood temporarily.
Yeah.
So-called pump it's an illusion, right? It's transient. And while it can be helpful in letting you know that you targeted a given muscle correctly, I think people get addicted to that feeling, but they're not realizing that the damage to the muscle tissue that then is allowed to recover is what makes the muscle actually larger when you're outside of the gym.
A pump is just a temporary extra blood flow to the area that feels good. You're pumped up, you feel tight, but you could get a lightweight and get a great pump. It's not going to stimulate any growth. So don't be fooled by the pump. It's nice and it's part of the process, but you've got to overload the muscle. You've got to give it more than it's used to. The body does not want to change. It wants to keep status quo. So you've got to give it a bloody good reason, as we would say in England, to change, right? So you've got to put more stress on the body than it's used to. Otherwise, you won't adapt. So even if it's like, you know, half a pound more or 1 rep more, there's got to be something more that the body says, hey, this stress, I can't handle it. I need to reinforce myself and adapt to this stress, so next time it won't be so stressful. That's basically the process.
That hard for 5 or 6 weeks, then back off. And during that 2 weeks, are you telling people to stay out of the gym entirely?
No, I'm telling them you can go in and do some lightweight, but nowhere near failure, blood flow, keep the maintenance. If you want to take a week off, I think it's good, a couple of times a year. A lot of guys, when I had a gym, you know, the guys, I'm stuck on this and that. I said, okay, take a week off. Wow, no, what do you mean? I said, man, just take a week off, come back in a week and tell me how you feel. Wow, and I came back and I was stronger. I was like, yeah, no shit, man. So because you've rested. You let your body rest and rebuild. So that'd be a lesson to you.
So for a person who's natural, not taking hormone replacement therapy or anabolics, you think 2, maybe 3 whole body sessions to start out to learn the movements? Is that doing 1 or 2 sets to failure? What does that look like for the raw beginner?
A raw beginner, first of all, you need to learn how to do the movements correctly before thinking about going to failure. What do the pecs do? Bring your arms down and across the body What do your lats do? They bring your upper arm down and back. So you'd be amazed, like, even if you have to pro bodybuilder, some of them don't know, like, why they're doing what they're doing, what's the mechanics involved. And I get them to do light sets, very perfect. Do you feel that? Do you feel how it contracts when you lats and you squeeze and you contract? Yeah, I feel it, okay. Now you've got it, but you've got to try to maintain that when it gets really hard, because we're going against the natural mechanics of the body here, right? Because we're, as I say, we're doing chest, yeah? We're trying to isolate the pecs, there's some delts involved, and triceps, and work that, or we're working legs, we're working back. The body normally doesn't work like that. It works as a unit, right? If you throw something, you don't do that from your tricep, right? It'll be from your foot, through the hips, through the shoulder, whole body thing. So when the exercise gets really hard, your brain is going to try to recruit or change the exercise to make it easier. So I got to get people to override that instinct. Just stick with the form until we get to the point where you can't do anymore, and understand, you know, that's why I get them to do light stuff at first, to really feel it, understand, I explain what's going on. A couple of weeks after that, we can start pushing to failure.
Mentor told me to train each body part once per week.
Yeah.
At first I thought he was crazy. So legs once a week, calves once a week, maybe twice for some people, the calves, but shoulders and arms and chest and back on 3 separate days. Legs, chest and back, shoulders and arms.
Great.
I thought he was crazy, but then, you know, I thought about it, and the chest and back workout, you're indirectly targeting the arms.
Yep.
Legs is if you do them right, is a whole body experience.
And a lot of stress on your nervous system, which has to recover independently of the whatever muscle group you're training. If you do legs, I mean, really to failure, there's a lot of stress on your nervous system as well. So that also has to recover. That's why I say after 6 weeks, I've just noticed with myself and many people, it seems to like you hit a plateau there. So I'm trying to push through it, come down, and I take a rest and go again later.
You know, I'm a scientist trained to do science. So how do you think about something where in a laboratory you can see something like protein synthesis peaks 48 hours later, so therefore train every 72 hours, versus the real world phenomenon?
So when the people talk about these science-based studies and you shouldn't train to failure, it's better to keep reps in reserve, I don't know which studies they're talking about. I'm not saying they're not out there, but I'm not familiar with them. I'm not familiar with how they carried out the studies. But if it doesn't work in practicality, does it really matter?
My experience with the HIIT, high intensity, lowish volume training has been, I'll say it's not just about gaining muscle. I mean, I'm now 50. I know you're almost 64.
Yep, coming up.
Looking amazing. You'll tell us more about longevity stuff in a bit. But I have to say, part of it is also that if one trains the way that you're describing, each muscle once per week, focusing on intensity, not volume, and so forth, 6 weeks or so, then backing off for 2 weeks, you also find that in your peer group, you're not the one always complaining about pain, and you have energy for other things, which we'll get back to. I mean, unless you're a competitive bodybuilder, most people, including myself, need energy to tend to life and want to be able to enjoy, it's not the soreness, it's the constant aches and pains that come from overtraining, I think, that most people don't have to live with, but think they do.
It depends on your goals, yeah? But I really believe the average person, yeah, that wants to get health benefits from bodybuilding, weight training, resistance, whatever you want to call it, right? They should have a guy that's 40 or 50 or 60, guy or a lady, whatever. The idea is if you could, because you've lost muscle mass slowly since maybe 1% a year since you're 40, right? And this is affecting your health, your metabolism, the ability to process sugar, many, many things, yeah? Bone strength. And the number one thing that I hear from people is, I don't really have time for that. I have a business, I have a family. I said, if you could give me 45 minutes twice a week, that's all you need to do. Okay, you need to eat properly and everything like that. But that's all you need to do for the average person. If you took 8 to 10 exercises that covered your whole body and you did it twice a week, that would be enough for the average person. 1 for chest, 1 or 2 for back, 1 or 2 for legs. Hey, if you want to do some bicep curls and some triceps, you can do it, but you're doing pressing anyway. So for the average person, that would actually be enough. And it's not theory, because I've done it with people, like I'm saying, this gentleman that came along. We put 45 minutes in, nearly an hour, 3 times a week, because I had him doing cardio as well. Well, guess how long the cardio was? 6 minutes. 6 minutes.
You have them pedal hard.
We're doing sprints, like on an air bike. It's my favorite because it engages every muscle, push, pull, legs. If you do a 20-second all out, and you can see how you got on the side of the thing, you can see how much watts you're generating. So now you have a target to hit or exceed every time. So do a minute and a half warm up, whatever. Feel warm, all out, balls out like the devil's chasing you for 20 seconds. First one's tough, but it's okay. Go down slowly for a minute, do the second one all out. The second one's really tough, yeah? The third one is, I've never met anybody that wants to do one after the third one, yeah? Because literally you can't breathe. And the benefits from that, again, I think there's a book called The 1 Minute Cardio. It's a bit tricky because it's not really 1 minute. It's 1 minute of sprints, but it's 6 minutes in total. And they compared that to 45 minutes of steady cardio on a treadmill or whatever it is. And the results are more or less the same. So what do you want to do? Do you want to spend 6 minutes or do you want to spend 45 minutes? I'd rather do the 6 minutes. I do a bit of long cardio as well myself because I like biking in the mountains and stuff. But if you did that twice a week, along with some weight training, that would be amazing. You change your life, literally, with that and a good diet. So the whole time thing, excuses, it's not relevant. I'm not listening. You don't need a lot of time.